Welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on BMC Helix Dashboards 25.2. We're going to be going through the key features and enhancements. Joining me today, and most of you already know, Nikhil. He's our Principal Product Manager, and we're also joined with Yusuf, one of our Senior Product Developers. Both of them will do their formal introductions when we get started. But before we do get started, just a reminder, and we suspect there's going to be a lot of questions. We're going to be sharing a lot of content. Please use the Q&A section of Zoom to pop your questions in there. And one of the presenters isn't speaking, and our panelists, they will start to answer your questions. We will roughly have around 10 to 15 minutes at the end. We will allocate for any type of Q&A. So before I hand over to Nikhil, we are also going to be launching a poll. We're really interested with some of the features some of you may have already seen. We will be presenting them today, and we would love to hear from you. So at that point, during this session, we're going to leave the poll open, and we'd love to hear your feedback. So Yusuf, if you can just close that down on the top of the window, and I can hand over to Nikhil. Thank you. And if you want to screen share again, wonderful. Okay, Nikhil, I'm going to hand over to you if you want to get us started.
Thank you, Sam. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our webinar participants, wherever you're joining us from around the world. I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I am a product manager for Helix Dashboards, and Yusuf and I are excited to be back to present to you what's new in Helix Dashboards 25.2. We always look forward to presenting our newer capabilities of our most recent releases. So for the past year or so, we've been doing these webinars. So today we'll talk about what are the new features in the 25.2 release. First off, there's HelixGPT Insight Finder. If you're already familiar with HelixGPT, it's BMC's range of agentic AI solutions across service management and operations management products. Insight Finder is an AI agent that completely transforms the experience of not just developing dashboards, but also analyzing data. We have brought generative AI to developing and analyzing data. We're going to see a demo of what we have achieved so far in the 25.2 release. Then there's Audit Trail, which is about admins wanting to track what's going on in dashboards, who's creating dashboards, who's modifying them, schedules, who's creating, modifying schedules, likewise permissions, dashboard permissions, folder permissions. Audit Trail allows your admin to keep track of who's done what in the system, so that if there's ever a need to find out who did what, you always have access to that data. As Helix Dashboards, as the adoption of Helix Dashboards grows around the world, we're seeing customers and their users across various geographies adopt dashboards. And this makes it necessary for us to extend localization support for dashboards. We have had localization support for French, German, and Spanish for a while. Recently, we've added support for Canadian French and Canadian English. Not only that, in this release in 25.2, we have released a localization framework that allows you to set up translation for all the strings that you use in your dashboards, all the keywords that you use in your dashboards. You can translate those to whichever other languages are used at your company, so that you can use the localization framework to create these strings, their translations, and depending on the user's language that they set on their profile, they'll be able to see the dashboard in that language. Formatting improvements. So digital workplace and business workflows are peculiar in that there's data in the form of service catalog questions, service catalog requests have questions and answers. But in this release, we have formatted it in such a way that questions and answers, it becomes easier for us or for report developers to render questions and answers. So we'll look at that. Several managed service providers provide ITSM services to their end customers. Today, we're going to see what features we have introduced to facilitate the use of Helix dashboards by managed service providers, how the experience that their employees or their users have, and the unique experience that the end users belonging to their customers will have. We'll see that. We've received feedback from several customers, so the past several months about performance. And in this release, we have introduced the ability to load dashboard without data. So initially, when the dashboard loads, it will not execute all those queries that populate the variables as well as all the panels. You can load a blank dashboard, and when the user sets those parameters, when they set the values of those variables, that's when the queries will be executed. Can we go to the next slide, please? So these were the main features. There are a few other features that we have released. Release management. Now, several customers have adopted release management in ITSM to mature their service management journey, their service management practices. And when customers implement release management, naturally, they expect that they should be able to develop dashboards on release management. Now, to do it using Visual Query Builder, you need to have a view. And in this release, we have done just that. We have developed a view for release management. Using this view, your users can develop dashboards on release management using Visual Query Builder. Then there's the calendar plugin. It's a community plugin that we have had in the product for a while. It was on version 2.5. We have upgraded to the latest version 3.8, 3.8.0. There are several improvements in this version, several bug fixes, as well as a new year-long view. So for example, if you've used our out-of-the-box change calendar dashboard, it uses this plugin. You could visualize data by day, week, or month. Now, with this latest release, you'll be able to view records on the year view as well. So, for example, if a use case could be if you want to view all the changes or planned releases throughout the year, you will be able to do that with this latest version. Grafana upgrade. So we have updated it to Grafana 11.2.2 in this release. And with this, so firstly, we continually look for opportunities to upgrade to the latest version of Grafana. We do at least one upgrade every year. And with that, it gives us an opportunity to take advantage of the new features of Grafana as well as any bug fixes or any other improvements that Grafana brings. So some of the key features of Grafana 11.2 are a refreshed UI. So a sleek, user-friendly UI that makes it easier for your users to navigate. There's a few visual enhancements. There's improved scrolling. There's an always visible vertical scroll bar, makes it easier for you to navigate. But there's also a cleaner layout with the ability to dock and undock. There are a few table panel enhancements, not BMC table, but Grafana table enhancements, as well as a few new transformations. BMC table improvements. So BMC table is a plugin that BMC has delivered to make it easier for our customers to. We have basically developed features based on the needs of BMC's customers. And one of the feedback that we got was that there's a lot of cell padding in BMC table. So if in tabular reports where you're just listing columns in a table, because of the high cell padding, you could only accommodate very few columns in the layout. By reducing the cell padding, we can now accommodate more columns. The cell padding now aligns with the Grafana table, the cell padding for Grafana table. Also, the column width remains static even when the browser is resized, allowing for a better experience. We've also added a few aggregates to the footer. Previously, we had average. We have now added median as well as minimum and maximum. So any of these aggregate calculations that you want to do on all the records in that table, you now have a choice of minimum, maximum, mean, and median. These are the most common aggregate measures used on ranges of values. Now, BCC schedules is about allowing, during scheduling, it's about allowing you to set up BCC recipients of schedules. So just as in email, when you receive an email, when you send an email and you mark someone in BCC, all other recipients do not get to know that the BCC recipients have also received that email. Likewise, in dashboards, anyone you set as a BCC recipient will receive the dashboard schedule, but all other recipients will not come to know that the BCC recipients have also received that dashboard. We also received feedback from some customers about being able to add multiple values and variables. Previously, you had to select those values one by one. Now you can store a comma separated values elsewhere offline for your routine reports and just copy paste those from elsewhere onto the dashboard variable. Helix Knowledge Management is our tool for knowledge management. For ITSM customers who also use Helix Knowledge Management, we now allow you to build reports and dashboards on Helix Knowledge Management. If you wish to take advantage of this capability, please submit a support case. In response to your support case, we will create a data source in your instance that allows you to connect to your instance of Helix Knowledge Management. Once this is done, you'll be able to develop your own custom dashboards on HKM. Reporting Metadata Studio, previously it worked only on Windows 10. Now it also works, it is now also compatible with Windows 11. We go to the next slide, please. Yes. We've delivered a few out-of-the-box dashboards based on, again, some customer feedback, number of dashboards related to Kubernetes, namespaces, deployment, and so on. So feel free to use these dashboards wherever they are relevant. We're now going to look at demos of some of our key features. The first one is HelixGPT Insight Finder. We're going to show you a recording of HelixGPT Insight Finder, but just a word of just something I need to tell you about Insight Finder. To use Insight Finder, you'll see the use cases that we are showing. These are only for ITSM, and you need to be on ITSM 25.2.00. That is the minimum version you need to be on so that you can take advantage of Insight Finder. Secondly, Insight Finder requires you to have a subscription of a large language model provider. So typically, if you have OpenAI or Azure OpenAI, Google Gemini, in this release, we support only one LLM provider, and that is Azure OpenAI GPT-4o. So if you have this subscription, then you will be able to use HelixGPT Insight Finder for developing dashboards. The scope of dashboards is limited to ITSM, and within ITSM, it is limited to incidents, problems, and changes. So this is the first release. We have started small. In future releases, this will go on expanding. We will expand HelixGPT Insight Finder to other areas of ITSM as well as other PMC Helix products as well. So with that, we'll now show you a demo of Insight Finder. HelixGPT Insight Finder appears as an item in the sidebar. When you click on Insight Finder, you'll notice how it's displayed. There's a right panel where you converse with Insight Finder through natural language, and there's a main dashboard area where dashboards are displayed. So let's start with analyzing incidents. So we've got the result set as a table. We can continue to add conditions. Let's see results just for open incidents. We can add a new panel. You can go across incidents and any of the forms that are related to the incident form. So for example, here I'm taking incidents with work log details. We can add conditions. We can continue to tweak this prompt and add conditions. So we can say show for critical priority only. You can also rename any of the columns or even the panel. Let's rename the panel. Now we can analyze problems. Problems by status. You can change the ordering. There, it's reordered by descending order of counts or counts of problems. So far we have seen how Insight Finder can analyze data based on any specific prompts you enter, but you can also enter open-ended prompts, which I'll do right now. So let's see how Insight Finder can help us with analyzing changes. So I've asked Insight Finder how it can help me analyze change management. Insight Finder understands the entire schema of incidents, problems, and changes, and based on its understanding of the relationships of different forms in ITSM, it recommends ways of analyzing data. So here we asked for help on analyzing change management. These are the various ways in which Insight Finder can help us analyze change management data. So we can click on any of these. One point to note is that Insight Finder allows you to enter prompts within the scope of the views that we use in Visual Query Builder.
So I'll just cover the rest of the open items on the demo. Right. Let me just start with the first audit tray. Right. So as Nikhil explained, as part of our ongoing activity, we are keep on adding the new audits for admin to monitor. And this time the audit has been expanded to the dashboards and schedules. Right. So let me just open our dummy dashboard. Right. And let's create a new schedule. Just create a new schedule for this schedule. This first. And a schedule is created for the dummy dashboard which I have. And I can just monitor the same activity through my audit dashboard, right, which we have already commissioned. And this would extend the capability for the new uh, schedules. This refresh. I would see the same activity here if I have a new schedule created. I think this is taking time, but I do have logged a few uh, events already for the schedule, same schedule I created and I deleted. It is logging this activity. Similarly, this time this activity is extended to schedule create, delete, run once, enable, disable, and as well as to the dashboards. If you are creating a new dashboard, deleting a dashboard or updating a dashboard, all those activity will be logged to the audit and same can be viewed from this audit dashboard. Moving on to the next item, the formatting of BWF and DWP data, right? So again, this is not something new that we are introducing now. It was already present, but it had its limitation that it was only available to old table plugin and record details plugin, right? And the logic was to determine that info from BWF or DWP system was embedded to those plugins only, right? This time we did more of a logical separation, getting that logic out from that particular panel to the dashboard level through transformations, right? So here I have opened one such example where I have a case details. So if let me just edit this thing. So this is my BWF case detail. And if I see the query, there is no change to the query. We would still have to write the same way how we used to write it before in a certain format, right? For example, for case, we have this nomenclature, cache, pound symbol, then social and task. This would remain same, right? But then after writing such query, we had to use a particular panel plugin to visualize that data, which is no more the case. Here now you would see a new transformation called dynamic field formatter. And here you can just select a field, right? And then the format type for the same. So for example, in this particular case, I want to visualize my data in a same column as a key value pair, right? So I would format it as a key value pair, right? And same would be reflected in my case activity in this column, right? Say for example, I do not wish to use BMC table. Say I want to use record details plugin, right? So this transformer, what it would do, it would basically acting on the data frames itself, and the same data frames can be used across the panels that you have, right? Only that it has to make the logical sense for it, right? Let me just add a title, case details, and maybe choose a field related task ID and the case activity, right? And same, I can see it here as a key value pair, right? So this is one such use case for BW data, case data, right? Where I'm formatting my dynamic fields as a key value pair, right? Let me just switch to the second use case, where instead of BWF, I have a DWP data, right? Where I can have a dynamic set of questionnaires, right? And here the same data I have created for dental benefit questions, right? If I again edit the dashboard, edit the panel, you would see the writing style for the query remains the same with the nomenclature for this format DWP data pound symbol, right? And instead of, again, same, not using the particular panel, I am using a formatter for the same, right? And this is this time the formatting type is not key value pair, rather a JSON field, right? So let me just disable this few transforms and let me show you how it will appear, right? So it is basically whatever data that we are bringing from DWP system is being converted to JSON through this formatter, right? And then we are basically extracting the JSON with by using this extract fields transformer. Again, this is something coming with Grafana 11, right? And once I have extracted all the fields, I can see my question as the heading of the column and the respective answers. For this summary question, the question is related to spouse, dependent, or a member, right? And the details regarding the question. This I created for the demo. So yeah, this was about the formatting DWP and BWF data, right? Then I'll just move on to, let me just close this one. So we don't need. The next feature is load blank dashboard. Right? Nikhil has talked a bit about it already, right? And you must have seen when I was opening a dashboard on this environment, my dashboard was getting opened with this text refresh dashboard to fetch data, right? So we have seen when we have a quite bulky dashboard with a number of panels, say tens of panels making tens of query at the load of the dashboard, it becomes a bit time taking, right? And also most of the time the results that we want to see are not the ones that we actually want to see, right? So most of the times we want to load the dashboard, select some variables, and then we want to basically get the data for those particular filter selection, right? So this is such feature, right? Again, I just want to add a disclaimer. This is in a controlled availability as of now, right? So it's not out of box as of now, but yeah, it is available with a feature flag. So once this feature is enabled, what it will do, it will basically load your variable data, right? And you can basically select what all variables you want to select, or what particular combinations you want to have, right? Say I've selected this many, and I am satisfied with this combination, and I want to see the respective data. I just click on this refresh dashboard, and it would start loading me the panel for the same. Right. Now, this is just one panel. It did not take much time to load the dashboard, right? But in case of multiple panels on dashboard, this becomes quite cumbersome and quite irritating to user, right? So this is about that. Right. Now, let me go to the next feature called localization, right? So as part of our ongoing improvements on localization, so far we have delivered the localization of dashboard application to an extent that it is almost complete for a Vivo persona, right? Now, whatever we have delivered so far is kind of a static localization, right? We were in need of this dynamic localization where content on the dashboards application can also be localized, right? And this is an attempt to that particular direction only. Now, with this feature enabled, again, disclaimer, this is also in a controlled availability as of now, right? And with this feature, user will be able to localize the content on the dashboard, say a dashboard name, folder name, then the labels that we put on the dashboards, right? So I'll just demo how the same can be done, right? Now this will be up to each customer's users. How do we wanna localize it, right? I'll just try to explain the flow, how it can be done, right? Let me just create a new dashboard. For example, say I want to show incident information with this dashboard. Let's put it under the demo folder for now. Now, once the dashboard is created, you would see a new tab under this dashboard settings called localization, right? Here you would find a drop down to select the different languages, right? Now these are the languages that we already support as part of our Helix dashboard application. Now, say I'm in a thought that I want to add a panel with an incident details, right? So I'll basically have a label called my panel title on the dashboard, right? So what I would want to do, I would want to create a key for the same, right? And you can create a key by clicking this new key. It would open a side drawer, right? Let's give some key for this label that I want to add, say incident detail. Right? And my default value for the same would be, say, incident details. I've added a key. Now, as soon as you add a key, it will start appearing in this keys list, right? This dashboard name is a default key. It can be deleted, but the ones that we are creating can be deleted, or the key value or the default value can be changed, right? Now, whatever key I've added, the default value will be added to the English language, right? Now, what I can do, I can change the language to, say, French, right? And have a different value, or the localized French value for the same. Say, for example, the dashboard name is incident information in English, and I say I want to have informations. So pardon my French quite literally here. I'll just rename this to, say, incident information and details. Once I'm done adding the label for localized label for the respective language, I'm just adding it for French as of now. I can just save the dashboard, right? And now I can go back to my dashboard. So I had this thought that I want to add a panel with incident details, right? So let me just quickly create the same. Say I want to have incident number, then submitter, and then make it right. Click on preview, use the query. Let's have a table view. Right. Now here's where I want to have that particular label, right? Now I want to refer to that localized label instead the one that I'm hard-codedly giving it here, right? So there will be two ways to do that, right? You can use this handlebar syntax for the same, right? And use the keys that you have created in the keys list, right? Now, if that is too much to remember, there will be a short hotkey for the same. You can just uh, press Control Y, right? And it would open a model, and it would list all the keys available to this context to this dashboard context, right? And I can just select the same. Once I have selected it, I can just do an apply, right? And the respective translation will show you. Let me just save this, right? And let's just change the language to French of this application to see the respective dashboard has been localized or not. So now I'm in my French view, and you see my dashboard name, which was incident information, is showing me like this information, so incidents, which I have added as a localized label for French, right? And if I just and if you see the panel title, it is details incident, right? And if I just refresh, this is my incident number, submitter, and priority columns, right? And now you see also this priority is localized in French as well. Now this is a content localization, which is basically from ITSM, which was already supported, right? Now, yeah, so this is a general overview how you can localize your dashboard, right? Now, there may come a need. So, where you want to add a key, not to a dashboard context, but to a global context, right? And you want to leverage that key to multiple dashboards, right? And we do have a way to achieve that, right? Through this localization. Let me switch back to English for ease of navigation. So a new node will be added under this dashboard's main node called localization management, right? And this would also show the same, more of a same view what we have seen on the localization tab of a dashboard, right? Here you will have a capability to add new keys, add the respective translations for different languages, right? And once a key is added here, it is available in the dashboards, right? Say, for example, now this again, just to reiterate, this is not just limited to the panel title only, but wherever you have a text field and you basically add a label, you can leverage this feature and add the respective translated label there. Say, for example, even I want to localize the heads of my table as well, right? So I can just add a transformer called organize field by name, and here I have a capability to rename my column name, right? So here again, I can just press this Control Y, and I can pick a key from my local scope or a global scope, right? So let's say if I have this already, so maybe I choose this key incident form, right? And you would see the same has been used reflected here. And if I do just to apply, you would see the same translation here. So this is about the global key. Now, if I talk about if you want to promote the dashboard to higher stack, right? As soon as you export this dashboard, this would also export the localization or the localized label that you added for different languages for this dashboard, right? And when you import it on a higher stack, if this feature is enabled there, the same would be reflected on that stack as well. Right? Now, this we have talked about the dashboard scope localization, right? And if you have a global scope localization created or global keys created, the same would be available through this export and import button. You can just export the JSON, the whole JSON from here and import it on the needed stack. Now, let me just, so for the demo sec, I actually kept a couple of dashboard localized already. Let me just open those. Just switch back to English. Right. What I'm, this dashboard I'm opening. Second dashboard under this folder. Let's switch the language again. So this is currently you are seeing this dashboard in English. Right? My profile language is English. If I just go to profile and switch to French again. So you see the dashboard is localized, the legends, the column name, the panel titles, even the variable names, right? Yeah, and this is about the dashboard. Similarly, we do have a capability to localize the folder name as well. So you see this folder name is also localized. You would find a new node added or new um, field added under this manage dropdown, right? You would see this manage local section, and here you can just change the language and add your translated or localized label for the folder name. So yeah, this is about let me switch language to English. This is about the dynamic content localization on dashboards. Moving on to the last feature for the demo is multiple service provider, which Nikhil talked about in extent. So as of today, we already have a capability from ITSM to have a MSP where a data or users created under different company organization scope would share that only would share the scope of that particular company only, right? And we were lacking that capability on AD side, on dashboard side, right? With this feature, this it's an attempt to match that parity, right? And again, for this is not something out of box enabled. you have to raise a work order to get this ITSM MSP enabled, right? Now, once you have switch to this tab, I have it open on one of our dev stack. Once you have ITSM MSP enabled configured, you would find a new node under Helix portal called organization, right? And what this will do, it will create that many organizations under this organization tab, as many companies that you have in your ITSM, right? So here I'm using one of my ITSM setup, and I have this many companies present there already. And this is with ITSM MSP enabled, and I can see all those companies listed here in this organization tab, right? So what I'll do, I'll just log in with a few users that we have created under this organizations. I'll log in with the GigaTech user and DataX technology user to see what all capability or what all restrictions it will bring for that MSP user, right? Before we do that, right, I just want to show you how it would appear for an admin, right? So this is an admin tenant admin user, right? And I can see all those organizations that this MSP feature has created. It would translate to dashboard teams, and I can see those teams here. Say, for example, if I open this GigaTech solution, I can see all the users, all the members of this user of this teams or company, right? And these are my users. Okay. I can basically assign whatever permissions I want to assign to this admin here, right? Now let me, and say for example, if I again open incident dashboard, I can basically, since I'm an admin, the user I've logged in with, I can see all the data from ITSM as well, right? So if I open this incident dashboard, I would basically see all my incidents for last 30 days. I would also see all my available companies here, right? So this is how it would appear for it. Now, let me log in with a particular company user. Say GigaTech. Let's take a user. Okay. For it to come up. Yeah. So I've logged in with this user. Now this is basically an editor user, right? And if I again open the same incident dashboard, here it would show me the respective companies data on, right? Now this content limitation is not something new. It was already always present with ITSM permission model, right? So I just want to show that this is how it will work. Now, again, to rephrase, this is not something new. It was always there, right? Now, this is an editor user. Let's go to this dashboard folder, right? Now we want to have the same capability here on the AD on the dashboard size as well, right? Now, previously when I was creating any content or any dashboard on my dashboard, and it was I was able to give that permission to any of my users existing on that particular stack on that particular tenant, right? But no more now. So, say for example, I have created this folder, GigaTech folder under this with this user, and if I open this folder, and if I try to add a permission, right? And if I try to add a team, say a user or a team, right? One more thing, with this ITSM MSP feature enabled, when giving a permission to the resources, be it folder, dashboard, or anything, you would not see the role selection, right? Which was there before, right? Now it is restricting to users and team. And when I select user, it would only list me the user from this Gigatech company only, and not all the users that are existing on this ITC tenant, right? And similarly for teams as well. When I select a team and see the list of teams available, I would see that particular team only for the company that I am assigned to, or this particular user is assigned to, right? Now, say for example, this Gigatech folder is something that I've created for this user, right? And I've given the permission for this user and this team only, right? And if I try to log in with, say, other company user, let me just go back to this teams and try to log in with data X use. Log in. And if I try to try to find that folder, I will not be able to see that folder. And again, this would only, it is not available. Folder is not available. So with this particular user, company user will not be able to share the data between the companies, right? You can restrict it. And this is not just for dashboards and folders. This capability extends to reports as well. Okay, so this is an editor user. I cannot create a report out of it. Let me log back in with the previous user. Open the same dashboard, try to create a schedule for that. I go to schedule the code and add a new schedule for the selected dashboard. Right? I'll not fill out the details, but what I want to show is this. Here again, user would only see the users pertaining to this company and thus cannot share the schedules also between the different company users. Right? So yeah, this is how we are restricting the users and limiting the multiple service provider use case, right? And I must talk about the unrestricted user concept as well. Much like how we create the user, uh, let's let me just grab an unrestricted user from one of the company. So this is one of the unrestricted user I've created with this Gigatech company. And if I go to this access restriction, this this is unrestricted. It's given unrestricted access, right? And much like on ITSM, when a user is given an unrestricted access, he can see the forms or incident between the companies. Same would be the case on the dashboard as well, right? Let me just log out and log in with an unrestricted user now. I've logged in with an unrestricted user under this Gigatech company. And if I try to try to view the data for the same, just like another unrestricted user in ITSM, I'll be able to see all the companies and all the data for the same, right? And this would extend the capability to dashboard permission models as well, right? And if I this an admin to this. Just go to a folder where I'm an admin, or maybe just create a new folder. Folder stated. If I try to assign a permission, we see a select team. I'll be able to select all the teams for the companies. Basically, all the teams exist on this system since this user is unrestricted. And if I go to users as well, I'll be able to see the users across the company. So this is how we are covering this ITSM MSP use case on ED on the dashboard side. And with that, I'd like to conclude the demo. I hope I'm not missing any item from the list.
Nikhil, was there anything else you wanted to cover on the slides before we go to the Q&A?
No, let's take the questions.
Okay. So there's a couple of questions and I can see a hand raised. We'll come to that shortly. So Jess has asked a question. Her last question was actually about DWP dashboard that was being shown on the screen at the time. Using special syntax and transformations, I'd like to know if out-of-the-box dashboards using these methods would be available so that they can be referenced in the course of learning how these work and writing it down. I don't know, Jess,
Yes.
if you want to come off as well. Sorry, go on.
Yes, we have modified. There's one existing DWP dashboard. We have modified that dashboard to take advantage of these latest changes. We'll let you know when you receive this Q&A. We'll share the details of what that dashboard is, so you can refer to it.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. A question from Mahmood, and I can see you've raised your hand. It was a question you were obviously having a conversation with Swapnil. Do you want to come off of mute and can you hear us?
Yes. Can I make permission on the dashboard level as if I have multiple dashboards in the same folder, but I need some people show one dashboard and another people can showing another dashboard in the same folder. Existing is the dashboards inherit the permission level from the folder itself. So all the dashboard will take the same permissions as I can make it from the folder level. So can I make different permission on the dashboard level?
It's your question. Can you override the folder permissions? Dashboards inherit permissions from the folder. You want to know if it's possible to override those permissions and provide different permissions to the dashboards inside that folder?
Yes.
Swapnil, do we support this? Can you override the permissions that have been inherited from the folder?
No. So inherited parent permission would remain in the dashboard. So it basically works inside out. So you want to keep the most permissions on the dashboard and you can restrict it there. And once you have a permission set on a parent, it will be inherited by all its children.
Not like the smart reporting, I can make permission on the dashboard level. So I need to create every dashboard. I need to create separate folder and give the permission on the folder level, like this.
You can still keep the dashboards under the same folder and have different permissions for the dashboards.
No, it can't, because the dashboard inherits the permission from the folder level.
Yeah. So we want to remove those float down permission from parent first.
Yes, but there is no option to make permission on the dashboard level. The only option for the manage permission is on the folder level only.
No, we do have a way to handle the permission on a dashboard level. You can go to dashboard settings and you would see a permission tab, and through which you can control whether how you want to what permissions you want to give for the dashboard.
Can we take the next question?
Yeah, next one is from Holly. Can you can you feed in other sources of data, or can it only be used data from Helix?
Can we unmute Holly? Need more
Holly,
context.
Hi.
yeah, Holly, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just whether external data can be fed in, so data that's not stored within Remedy, can that be fed in to use it within the dashboards? Or is it just using data that's within Remedy?
Currently, we are limited to data within Helix products for
Okay.
security reasons. But we do have a roadmap item to allow importing data or creating data sources for external data sources. That is a roadmap item for later this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question. Next question is from Michael. We need subfolders in dashboards. One level is not enough. This has been registered as an idea, so I guess maybe Nikhil, you can maybe elaborate
Yes.
on that.
Yes, this is a roadmap item. We are looking forward to introducing subfolders or nested folders. We need to look at how permissions, roles, how they work with the nested folder structure. So yes, we are actively working on this and we intend to introduce it in the near future.
From you, I don't know if you've got audio available, but I can't see anything moving. So